You found Stryker of Enyo, and the following is an excerpt from my main video, I Play Every Xbox Live Arcade Game Part 2, which is a massive 3.5-hour experience that I encourage you to check out if you like what you see here. This version was rendered at nearly 2 to 3 times the bitrate of the original. I've come to chew ass and to kick bubblegum, and I'm all out of ass. Duke Nukem 3D. Duke Nukem 3D is another one of those hallmarks of PC gaming back in the 1990s. Originally designed on the Build engine, a powerful engine that has been the basis for some of the best first-person shooters of all time. You see, kids, there was this holy trinity of Build engine games that remained unchanged for decades. I can't really speak about the high quality of games that have come out since 2015 or so, but this trinity consisted of Duke Nukem 3D, which was the start of it all, and then there was Shadow Warrior, a superior game in many ways, bigger levels, more enemies, tougher bosses, and just way more stuff. And then you have Blood, the standout and true king of all the games released on the Build engine. At least it was for a few decades. I'm not exactly sure if you would still consider these three to be the best, because there's actually been some additional games that have used the Build engine. But as far as the 90s are concerned, these three can't be beat. Duke was a great start. Shadow Warrior improved upon the design of Duke in several areas and made more advancements. But Blood did everything that Duke and Shadow Warrior did, but better. The level design and the art direction are far superior, with a much deeper and foreboding atmosphere that just isn't present in the other two games. Seriously, if you like Duke Nukem 3D, then you simply must play both Blood and the original Shadow Warrior. Both have updated versions on Steam and GOG.com. Alright, so with all that out of the way, what you've been seeing up to this point has been the 360 version of Duke. But I only have the trial available to me. The 360 version of Duke Nukem 3D will still be available on the storefront until it closes July of 2024. And it's not backwards compatible, so this console version will be gone when the store shuts down. Purists might want to get a hold of it, but it only displays in 4:3. And you have a slider for the screen size, which is odd. I ended up getting the 20th Anniversary World Tour Edition on newer consoles. So most of this footage will be from that game. The World Tour version that I'm playing on has the original 4 episodes, LA Meltdown, Lunar Apocalypse, Shrapnel City, and The Birth. And you also have a brand new episode 5, Alien World Order, made just for this collection. The Rewind feature returns, which was introduced in the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 versions, and you can still save your progress at any point. There's also developer commentary, which is actually kind of interesting, and it uses those little floating icons spread throughout the maps. What originally made Duke Nukem 3D stand out was the revolutionary interaction with the environment. Every other shooter or 3D game at the time had repeating nondescript walls with bland floors and ceilings. Nothing looked like recognizable modern-day places or architecture. Duke Nukem 3D, however, had a movie theater with rows of seats and a projector room. You had a strip club with a dance floor, a bar, tables, and chairs. And you had apartments with furniture and things on the walls. In 1996, nobody else was doing this. This was awesome to play.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference?
The map designs are very strong, with only a few weak ones. There are a lot of nice moments, and Duke's one-liners are priceless. The new Episode 5 has way more detail in the environment and more enemies than the original ones. This version gets a 7 out of 10. Some things work, but some are missing as well. The World Tour Edition isn't the ultimate collection that it could have been. This version also goes by another name you may have heard.
The Cursed Randy version.
The Cursed Randy version. You want to know why some people call the 20th Anniversary World Tour Edition the Cursed Randy version? Because they cut out Sunstorm's work. You see, 2 DLCs were officially packaged in Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition, Duke It Out in DC and Duke Caribbean Life's a Beach. Sunstorm has made DLCs for other very famous FPS games. They developed Cryptic Passage, which can be found in the newer release of Blood, which is Blood Fresh Supply, and they also developed Wanton Destruction, which finally saw an official release many years later and is packaged with the newest version of Shadow Warrior, Classic Redo. Or it basically includes a free upgrade to the Classic Complete Edition, which has both expansions. But Duke It Out in DC and Duke Caribbean Life's a Beach was not included in the World Tour version. The two companies behind publishing Blood and Shadow Warrior went to the trouble to actually pay Sunstorm for their hard work and include their expansions for players to enjoy in the newest packaged versions of their owned properties. Gearbox Software did not. But why? Well, the CEO at the time was Randall Pitchford II. Oh, hi, Randy. The ultimate decision would have been his. And that's why this is the Cursed Randy version. Altogether, there were actually 3 official authorized DLC packs for Duke Nukem 3D. The first 2 I mentioned were done by Sunstorm, but there's a third one that was just made for Christmas that was done by another party. But all 3 of them were official, and they were actually sold in stores separately, and they have been bundled all together in the Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition and the Plutonium Edition. But not anymore. Leading up to the launch of the 20th Anniversary World Tour Edition, all other digital versions of Duke Nukem 3D, and including the DLC, were removed from existing digital stores, including Steam. The sad thing is that the Megaton Edition actually came to the PlayStation 3, with all 3 authorized DLCs, a first for consoles. But thanks to Grease Boy Randy, it was removed from PSN like all the other versions of Duke Nukem 3D around December of 2015. I looked for it on Amazon, but it was a digital-only release. There is no physical version available. So at least now you know the content did make it to consoles at least one time, so why couldn't we have it as part of the newer game? I don't know. The only digital store that has an unrestricted license to sell the original Duke games is the Zoom platform at zoom-platform.com. They are the only place you can still get the Atomic Edition with all the DLC, including Duke Nukem's Penthouse Paradise and the 2 Duke Zone packs. They do have occasional sales, but these are only $5.99 each. Those interested might actually want to check out the Zoom platform. They have over 600 games on their site, including about 25 other titles from 3D Realms, like Blake Stone and Biomenace, and a few of them are completely free. And there are several games that you can't find available on other digital storefronts, like Postal 3. So it might be worth a look if you want to get some of these older games. Sunstorm Interactive would go on to eventually develop Duke Nukem Manhattan Project. Well, speaking of a segue, Duke Nukem Manhattan Project, from 3D Realms and developed by Sunstorm Interactive. After the release of Duke Nukem 3D, 3D Realms began work on a platformer originally called Duke Nukem Forever. This was going to be a side-scroller in the same style that would echo the design of the very first 2 Duke Nukem games, on DOS, which were also platformers. This version was eventually canceled by December of 1996 so they could focus on working on a proper sequel, and then they decided to reuse the name of the canceled side-scroller instead.
Something tells me this won't pass any safety inspections.
Duke Nukem Manhattan Project is a return to the 2D gameplay that started the series. This has often been called the last great Duke Nukem game. Well, I'm not sure about often, but Civvy11 said this during his review. Developed by Sunstorm Interactive, a company that has made Duke content before, they have easily proven that they know this character quite well with Manhattan Project. This is the type of budget game that you see on store shelves for $10 on Windows and Mac. It was also on Steam and GOG until all digital platforms got pulled thanks to the great Randy and his disappearing act. Ooh, Randy.
Get out, Randy!
Sorry, I'll contain myself. Otherwise, the Zoom platform is the only other place that has the exclusive digital rights to the earlier games in the series and this one. Originally, I dismissed this game as being some cheap and clunky platform game. I knew Duke started out as a platformer, but I just didn't like the way this game played. But then I gave it another try. John St. John quite possibly sounds the best he ever has as Duke in this game.
I could do this all day.
Obviously, the sound recordings are of much better quality than the original Duke 3D ones, so his vocals come across clear and clean. But it's also his tone.
I'm all yours.
So many babes, so little time.
The sound director from Sunstorm Interactive knew exactly what he wanted, and he got a superb performance. This isn't the introduction to the ecosystem. I believe that started in Land of the Babes, if I remember right, but it is used here very well. You got 8 chapters consisting of 3 levels each, and your 2 main goals are always the same. Find the level key and save the babes. Yes, that's right, we actually get to save the babes.
Sir, do we get to win this time?
This time it's up to you.
The Nintendo 64 version of Duke 3D was the only version where you actually could save them. Even in the 20th Anniversary World Tour Edition, you couldn't technically save them. They were there, often surrounded by explosives, and you might accidentally get them killed, but you could never just walk up to them and actually rescue them in any kind of way. So it feels nice to be able to finally save them once again.
Ooh, careful with those things.
Duke Nukem has some great lines.
Come on out, Morphix. There's only two ways this can end, and in both of them, you die.
Oh my god, do you know how long it's been since Duke has had a good, badass line of dialogue? Oh man, it's been over 20 years. This game originally released in 2001, but it didn't come to XBLA until 2010. And yes, that means none of his lines in Duke Nukem Forever were good. We all know this is true. Don't kid yourself.
Oh, hey, Smithy. My ears were burning.
Oh, hi, Cancer Mouse. How do you show up in a video game on screen, then you suddenly appear next to my monitor? Oh, never mind. You're just gonna tell me it's through the magic of portals again. I'm putting too much thought into this.
Hey, lard ass! Has anyone told you you're like an annoying crying baby on a plane? Nobody wants to say it out loud, but half the plane wants to throw you out the window, while the other half just wants to punch you right in the face!
Oh, hey, little Billy. Damn, that was a rough one. Why do you always insult me when you make an appearance?
I'm not insulting you, I'm describing you. Anyway, but Stryker, where did this glowing rat come from? And why does he call you Civvy?
Oh, I was held at this, let's say it's a correctional facility, and there was this rat that would come and visit us inmates. We didn't have proper names, so they designated us by the floor we were on and the room number. I was Civvy 17. Spelled CVI, which was floor 106, and I was in room 17. I heard about this somewhat famous guy on floor 105, but I never met him.
So this racist rat just shows up sometimes? No explanation?
It's only ironically racist.
How can someone be only ironically racist? You're just creating an environment where the racist guy can keep being racist, but as long as he says, JK, don't be mad, then he gets away with it? Well, I was able to escape, but it was not a happy experience. I don't talk about it much. I just guess the little guy followed me home.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the special guest in this postal expansion.
Oh, no, this isn't a postal expansion. It's Duke Nukem Manhattan Project. And this is Little Billy.
I'm not his kid!
Yes, regardless of what the internet might think, he is not a JPEG of my own son that I try to profit off of.
Yeah, I'm a real boy!
Right, just not mine.
What room is this in your house, anyway? I don't recognize it. Why does it look like a prison cell? Why would you have a room that looks like a prison cell in your house? Dang, those women you rescue have massive junks.
Actually, Civvy, there are some types of flies, cockroaches, and even spiders that lactate.
Is this rat, kinda slow? I want to use the R word and just kick him across the room, but I'm trying to be more sensitive to the YouTube audience.
Been a while since you let me do something educational on the show, Civvy.
Oh, I hate you so much. Little Billy, do it.
A frog?
All right, finally. Look here, you rat fuck. Your family tree must be a cactus because all I see are pricks.
Today I'd like to talk about the great wisdom and traditions of the Native Americans.
Oh, I'd like to see things from your rat point of view, but I can't seem to get my head that far up my ass.
History tells us of knowledge passed down from the...
Why are you always glowing, too? Are you sick? Is that radiation? Why do my testicles always feel smaller when you're around?
Katie, cut their mics. What am I doing with my life? Maybe I can go back and get locked up again. It wasn't so bad, really. Shock therapy was kind of fun sometimes.
For its time, Duke Nukem Manhattan Project was supposedly a decent side-scroller. On Metacritic, the PC version got a 78 back in 2002, with a rather good user score of 7.8. But 8 years later on the 360, it got a pathetic 41, with the user score a little higher. Many reviewers didn't like the character models, the environments, the shooting mechanics, or the art style. Some thought the game looked like shovelware assets updated to HD. Damn, kinda harsh. I enjoyed my time much more during this repeat visit, but it's still only a 6 out of 10. Duke is back in fine form. Some levels can drag on and get a bit monotonous, but the one-liners are great, and the writing is in the style of the previous games. Sunstorm has made a good Duke game. Us console users, we just got it 9 years later. If you do get this on PC, then there's actually a way that you can zoom out the FOV a little bit more. This is what 90 looks like, and it seems to work rather well. Yes, you will see the edges of some of the screen a lot, because the game was never meant to be zoomed out this much, but it just looks a lot better this way, and it's just more playable. The default FOV just feels a bit too close, but on console, this is all you have for an option.
So there is life after death.
Would you like to know more? Did you like the video you just watched? Then leave a comment, even give me a like. Then head to my channel for more. I got several series like Rage Quit 2, How the F Did I Die, and I even have a playlist for everything related to the I Play Every Xbox Live arcade game. You'll find all the parts, including higher bitrate versions of certain segments and eventually audio commentaries. If you want to see what I'm currently working on, then check the community tab on my channel, it's just right here. This is where I give occasional updates on what I'm working on and mention what's coming up next. If you want to watch the main video where this segment came from, then it should be showing up right about now, on the upper left side of the screen. The playlist for the entire series will be on the lower right. Thank you for any watch time that you can spare. The response of the series has been very positive, so thank you all.